here, the Frugal Crafter, with a little Friday night quick card for you, and we're gonna make this, and it's yay, right side up camera. Look at my hands, they're down here instead of up there, and woo! I've been waiting all day to make a card. I'm telling you what, I've been run ragged this week. It has been school vacation, and yeah, I'm totally ready to make a card. I'm gonna use watercolors, so I got my little watercolor palette over here. I'm gonna take a little sap green. Now I'm using regular cardstock. So when you use regular cardstock, you want to make sure you don't put too much water on when you're watercoloring. I got a little yellow ochre there, a little bit of mauve, and a little bit of ultramarine blue. I'm going to be mixing up some of my own colors from here, and I'm also going to be using these on the background, so I want to make sure that I introduce them all here on this panel that I'm going to paint. Also, a little bit of alizarin crimson, because I'll want that for some background. So I've got that all arranged out of my palette, and I'm going to, I just got a little rag over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my brush loaded up with color, and then I'm going to blot it off so I don't have any more extraneous paint, and I'm just going to very loosely go in and paint some of these grasses. This stamp is by About Art Accents. It is a very stylized iris, I believe. And now after I've gotten about half of those done, I'm going to add some yellow ochre to my green, so I end up with some warmer leaves. And I am not worrying too much about being exactly in the lines. I stamped this with waterproof ink, so I know my watercolors are not going to run. And when you're working on cardstock, you're not going to have as much blending time as you would with watercolor paper, so just kind of go with it, just have fun. For some darker shadows, I'll take a little bit of ultramarine, and I'm just going to throw in, I just picked up the ultramarine on my brush that already had green in it, and I'm just going to throw in a few shadows. There, that's really all there is. Now I'm going to take some of that mauve, it's kind of like a pinky purpley color. You can mix some alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue if you don't have mauve. That'll be fine, that'll be pretty close. And I'm just going to throw in some of the iris petals. Again, you know, don't worry about it, just get the color in there. And then I'm going to pick up some blue on that brush, the same ultramarine blue, and I'm going to throw in some of the other petals. I'm being very painterly, very sloppy with this. It's going to be a very free, fun, quick card. It would be one of those type of card that would be great to do like a set of 4 of these, make like a little gift set for somebody. Just very fun. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow ochre. I'll have to get some fresh yellow ochre because I've contaminated all the other stuff. I'm just going to give it some little dabs here and there around the purple buds, just to be kind of like the centers. And now for the background, I'm going to grab a little more mauve. I'm going to mix it in with my crimson so I get a kind of pinky color that's not too red, and I'm just going to very loosely go in there and throw it in the background. Don't worry if you make any of your colors bleed. This is just a very quick type of demonstration here. I think I really like how splashy the paint looks. If you want to take more time and have a little more controlled look, that's completely up to you. I'm using Ranger Archival Black ink. It's kind of a new find for me. I usually prefer the Stampin' Up! Basic Black, but I heard they changed their formula, so I thought I'd better find a new black ink before I need it. So I've been experimenting with this. And it is definitely a lot blacker, a lot bolder. So for something like this, where I have just a really loose painting job, it's kind of fun. Because I know my design's gonna show up, the stamp design is gonna show up. Even if I get a little wild with the colors. Now I also want to have some, just a little more interest, so what I'm going to do is just speckle some of the other colors that I've used right on top. You don't have to do that if you don't like it. Alright. Do as little or as much of that as you like. I want a little bit of purple in there, I think. Oh, that's not juicy enough. That's still not juicy enough. I need some more liquidy paint. Alright, now I'm going to let that dry. Oh, it's so fun to work right side up. Alright, now for the card base, and I don't have to worry about sticking my card on upside down like I have before because I know which way it's opening. Alright, what I'm going to do is just take a big round brush, a nice juicy one, a nice thirsty one, I guess, and I am going to just grab some of the colors I've been using all along and just kind of make a nice background. I'm painting it very quickly because I don't want to have too many hard edges. I like what happens when you get the when you get the mauve and the yellow ochre together, it kind of is this just glorious brownish color, but it still remains, it still keeps some of its vibrancy. And really just throw the color around. This should be a great, like, either warm up card, you know, loosen up card. Oh, there's the furnace. You know, or it's, you know, can be just a nice card if you just have a few minutes to create during the day, which is kind of like my case this week with school vacation. I'm just going to drip in a little bit more of that because I like that mauve. Now if you want to have a little extra texture, then extra texture. Throw a little bit of salt in there. And now where the salt lands, it's going to do some crazy stuff to the watercolor. It's going to kind of absorb the water and give you some neat little speckles. I can kind of show you here in this finished card how you get some kind of speckly look there. What I'm going to do is dry this. I will pause the video and I'll come back when it's all dry. Alright, it's all dry. I'm going to brush the salt off. And you won't get as much of a, that wasn't completely dry, you won't get a quite the same effect as you would on watercolor paper. It's much more dramatic on watercolor paper, but this still is kind of neat. There you go, you can kind of see it there. Just some little speckles. And then you can kind of bend your paper back into submission if it got a little wrinkly while you were heating, while it was wet and then drying. I'm going to stamp a sentiment right on the bottom of this card. And again, I'm going to use this archival ink. And I think this time I will do thanks. There. And put that right down here on the bottom. Is that right side up, hopefully? Oh, this is so weird working right side up. There. I'm a little crooked, but it's right side up. That's something, right? I'll put my little panel that we just colored there. I'm going to use some foam adhesive. And I'm just going to put it in the corners. This is dry. This should be dry enough. I'm not quite ready to just lay it down on its face, though. I think that it might still be a little damp. But I'm not going to bother drying it with a heat tool because that takes too long. We're doing a quick card today. You could actually do all the backgrounds in one sitting, let them dry while you paint the foreground pieces, and really you could have a batch of these done in no time. Let's get that out of there. Alright, and there you have it. Very easy, fun, splashy, loose watercolor card. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Put it on Facebook, I don't know, pin it, whatever you do, tweet it. I don't know. There you go. Some cards. Very easy, very quick. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.